Hello, coaches and basketball enthusiasts. Welcome to the Coach Carvalho podcast, the podcast where we explore the world of statistically based basketball strategies and bold training methods. I am Coach Carvalho, your host. In today's episode, we will explore how traditional strategies often favor teams with more resources and how a data-driven, adaptable approach can break through those barriers, giving every team a real chance to redefine success on their own terms. For too long, basketball has been dominated by predictable, conventional systems, strategies designed for teams with superior talent and depth. But the truth is, the game is evolving, and so must we as coaches. Smaller programs are often forced to mimic these approaches, which only widens the gap between top teams and the rest, preserving the status quo instead of encouraging true competition. Picture this: a basketball game between Team A and Team B. Team A has superior individual talent, and both teams run the same conventional and predictable offensive and defensive schemes. Who wins? In most cases, it's Team A. Why? Because when strategies are equal, talent dictates the outcome. Team A executes better, handles pressure more effectively, and dominates key areas like rebounding and shot efficiency. That's why Team A has a 75 to 85 chance of winning. But here's where the real solution comes in, especially for the underdog. The key is to align your play style with the numerical knowledge of the game, rooted in data and unpredictability. A well-designed play style that starts from the opening tip, built around analytical goals and objectives, can be monitored and adapted throughout the game. This approach neutralizes talent gaps, shifting the game in your favor and forcing your opponent out of their comfort zone where talent alone won't be enough to win. The bigger issue is that basketball remains stuck in conventional strategies that reinforce the dominance of well-resourced teams. Smaller programs often imitate these methods, widening the gap and keeping the game predictable, maintain the status quo year after year. But this isn't just about resources. It's also about coaches' mindsets, which rely on routines over critical thinking. For teams with limited talent, breaking that mold isn't optional. It's essential. Conventional strategies create an uphill battle, forcing teams into systems designed for those with more resources, leaving little room for true innovation. Teams don't need minor adjustments. They need a radical shift. This means building a play style rooted in data and unpredictability. When teams embrace this approach, they can play smarter and level the field, even against more talented opponents. Now imagine this: a game where adaptability and unpredictability beat routine. Teams break away from predictable playbooks and instead use analytics to transform their style of play. This data driven approach gives every team, no matter their resources, the chance to compete on equal ground. It's not just a theory, it's a revolutionary shift where smart play consistently wins over raw talent. Basketball's future doesn't need more of the same. It needs a break from the predictable, stagnant play styles that hold back innovation and only benefit the most talented teams. This shift injects urgency into your coaching, bringing new energy to your players, staff, and fans. To break these limits, teams need more than strategic tweaks. They need bold thinking and database strategies. With the right analytical approach, even teams without height or star power can disrupt and defy the conventional. True progress happens when coaches take calculated risks and boldly use analytics to create game-changing strategies that push the boundaries of the sport. Critical thinking is essential for breaking away from outdated systems. It's time for coaches to adopt this approach and give their teams a real chance to redefine what's possible on the court. Adaptability becomes your greatest weapon when teams play to their strengths, breaking free from the same tired template. By looking at basketball through a data driven lens, every team can defy expectations and compete on their terms. This shift isn't just a vision, it's a concrete strategy for gaining a competitive edge. Basketball's future isn't about clinging to old habits or outdated, predictable systems. Real progress comes from breaking away from conventional thinking and creating an environment where any team, regardless of resources, can push the limits of what's possible on the court. In today's episode, we explored how breaking free from the conventional playbook and embracing a data driven mindset can give underdog teams a real path to success. This isn't just about resources. It's about playing smart, challenging the status quo, and moving the game forward. For those coaches ready to elevate their strategy, Smart Hoops Analytics offers the tools and insights you need to break through limits and help your team compete on its terms. Visit us at smarthoopsanalytics.com to see how analytics can transform your team's performance. Well, coaches, that wraps up today's episode. If you found today's discussion insightful, we'd appreciate your support by leaving likes and comments on our podcast website. Your feedback helps us continue to deliver valuable content and attract potential sponsors. We also encourage you to share your insights and experiences with us, as they will help us improve future episodes. Your participation makes this podcast a community, and we value your contributions. Remember, you can access our podcast on various platforms, including TuneIn, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Player FM, and more. Coaches, I eagerly await you joining us for our next episode. Until next time, keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible in your coaching. And remember, it's about more than just numbers. It's about turning those numbers into success. Stay tuned for more insights, and I'll see you in the next episode. This is Coach Carvalho signing off.